Yeah. You want to read your name? Samuel.
One more time, yeah.
Say it one more time. Oh.
Okay, right to the camera. Say it to the camera. Samuel Wilder King. Wait, okay.
Yeah.
My grandfather, Samuel Wilder King, was born in Hawaii before we were even a territory. He was born into the Kingdom of Hawaii in the 1880s. He really understood Hawaii. He really understood the importance of a place like Hawaii. It is a very unique place, and he fought for the right for people to live the way we do in Hawaii.
His father was James Anderson King, who was a Scottish steamship captain who traded around Hawaii to the American mainland and to Japan. His mother was Charlotte Holmes Davis, who was the daughter of Hawaiian royal family and an American planter.
This is my great-grandfather's ship's wheel. When he retired, he kept it for some reason. So my parents had it in the house for many years and eventually turned it into a table. And one of the things we all love about it is that it turns.
King went to high school in Hawaii, and then wanting to pursue a maritime career, he applied for and was accepted to the Annapolis Naval Academy.
Prince Kuhio, who was the delegate to Congress at that time, appointed him to Annapolis. And that's how he got involved in the Navy.
He joins the crew of a gunboat in China. He was one of the officers who was responsible for the functioning of the ship and the leadership of the men. King returns to Hawaii early in the First World War, where he helps to form the naval militia of Hawaii. Hawaii is in a special position during the war. Because it is a territory, units that are raised there are called militia units and not reserve units. The naval militia definitely comes under command of the U.S. Navy. They board the USS St. Louis, and they fall under the same chain of command. King is on board the St. Louis for almost the entirety of the war. When they arrive in the Caribbean, they're first assigned to look for German cruisers and other raiders. They also rescue the crews from a number of American merchant ships that have been torpedoed. And finally, at the end of the war, the USS St. Louis is actually converted into a troop ship to help bring returning American Expeditionary Force units back to the United States.
He left the Navy after World War I. He began a very successful real estate business. And then he just got involved in politics because he felt that Hawaii was being sort of cheated by not being a state because we didn't have a lot of rights that other people did. So he ran for Congress and he was elected delegate to Congress. The thing about delegate to Congress in those days, you didn't get a vote. You could be there, you could discuss things, but you did not get a vote. He was still in Congress when Pearl Harbor was attacked. And he called my father. He asked my father, is it true? And my father said, yes, we've been attacked. So my grandfather told the rest of Congress that it was truly happening. And then he immediately quit and went back in the Navy. My father adored his father, and he wanted to be like him. So he wanted to be in the Navy, so he joined Naval Intelligence. This is a picture taken during World War II of my grandfather's family at the time. This is Uncle Pali, who was an Annapolis graduate in the Navy. Uncle Mauli, who was in the Marines. This is Uncle Jim. My father, who was in Naval Intelligence. My mother, who was in Naval Intelligence. My two aunts. And my grandfather, Samuel Wilder King. And my grandmother, Pauline Evans King.
After the bombing of Pearl Harbor, most Japanese American citizens on the mainland are interned in camps. There's a big debate in Hawaii as well as to whether the Japanese Hawaiian population should be interned. What eventually happens is that a camp is started in Hawaii, and that camp eventually houses German Americans, Italians, Koreans, and some Japanese leaders. But the bulk of the Japanese American population in Hawaii, unlike on the mainland, is not interned. And that's partly because of the arguments of King and others who believed that they shouldn't be. At the end of the war, he returned to politics. He was appointed the governor of the territory of Hawaii by President Eisenhower, and he fought for Hawaii to become a state.
I think one way my grandfather's legacy lives on is that he really understood what it meant to be in this very special place. And he protected it and fought for it and tried to make sure that everybody had rights in Hawaii. It was very important to him to do that. I think that my grandmother was as important a part of that story as my grandfather. You know, often women get forgotten in what they do. She was never a governor or a congresswoman or anything, but she was well known when they were in Washington because she was very gracious and she loved everyone. She met everyone as they were, and she kept him moving forward in a very positive way. She supported everything he did. And she was Hawaiian herself, so she really understood the whole thing. They came from different sides of the overthrow. Her family was for the Queen and his family was for the overthrow. So in Hawaii, that's important that people have done that, have made those connections even though we might have been on opposite sides at different times. But I think she was a really important part of all of our lives and really especially of his life. Because he was of mixed race, because he thought that was fine, because he loved people of all cultures, he thought it was really important for us. He fought for the right for people to live the way we do in Hawaii.